Good morning, everybody. Hope that you're well. It's very rainy here in Western New York on this late July Thursday. As I record this, this is Tea Time with Tiffany, episode 106. Yeah, it's rainy and it's not cool outside, but it's also not humid, which is a wonderful thing in my opinion. I was carrying in a bunch of stuff this morning because my CSA, my vegetable share, comes on Thursdays. And you have to recycle your box with them. So you always bring it and leave it for them, and then they take it and leave you the new one. And so I was bringing that in addition to all of my other stuff and hoping that I got in before it rained again, which I did. And I was thinking about, this tea time and what we would be talking about today. And we're gonna talk about our usual. I've got some interesting book news, and I've been very crafty lately, so I've got some yarn and pattern stuff to put into the show notes and update you on. Also some August novena plans, and of course just general what's been happening in my week. So why don't we start there? What's been happening in my week is that I'm exhausted, and I don't think it's going to get better, at least until next week at this time. So at least that's a short-term situation. I should be feeling a lot better come, I don't know, Tuesday, I suppose, of next week. But what's been going on this week for me is I've been busy. As you saw from my post this week, I had, some dance adventures over the weekend, and I'm going to have a lot more this weekend coming up. If I'm being honest, I'm a little apprehensive because I'm a person that likes to be very organized and have everything very planned out, and my group is very organized, there's no doubt about that. However, we have a lot of gigs in a short period of time, and so it's challenging our ability to be as hyper organized as we would like, because we can't even have our rehearsal this week since we have a gig on that night, and that's the night before the big art festival. And so there's a lot of confusion about which choreographies we're performing on which night, especially with regards to the art festival, which is a much more long and drawn out affair. Which costumes do we need on what day? And it's very easy to forget things for an event like that, where you need a lot of different costumes and different props, and it's easy to leave pieces behind that you need. And so I'm just hoping that that all comes together. But right now the only thing that we have organized is for the wedding that we're going to be performing at on Friday evening. And I really don't know much about Saturday and Sunday. We only have a certain repertoire of numbers we've been practicing, so obviously we're just drawing from that, which is fine. But we have a lot of different costumes, and certain types of numbers require different types of costumes, depending if they're folkloric. And but if you're performing a larger set, sometimes you don't have time to change, and so you may sort of have one costume that can be used for multiple pieces. And I know that we're planning on doing that at least once, but I don't know when, because we have multiple sets on each day. It's all just completely up in the air for Saturday and Sunday. And I don't want to ask about it because I know that our troupe director is very stressed out, not about us, but we have other cultural dance groups performing with us, which is awesome. But she's then dependent on them giving her their music and how much time they need for her to be able to organize it into the sets, and they often wait until the last minute to do that. And so that's very stressful for her, because then she's waiting on that information, and then she can't set up our set until she has that from them, because we only have a certain block of time, 2 blocks each day, and we need to fit all of the groups within those blocks. So I'm just going to have faith that that's going to work out okay. We had briefly talked about costuming. I'm just going to pack every possible combination. I'm hoping that I don't need sword for that, but I don't know that for sure because she hasn't got us the set list yet. I don't know if she wants me to do, or has time for me to do sword solo. I'd be totally fine with leaving sword at home for this one. But we're going to need different veils, and we're going to need Oh, I don't think we need the Isis wings for that one, which is good. We need the wings for the wedding. So, um, doing my best to keep track of all of that, but I'm just waiting and having faith that's going to be okay. And then Saturday night, I have another gig with somebody else from my troupe where we'll each be dancing solo, but we coordinated a quick drum solo together. I'm just hoping that I remember everything. I only have to dance for 12 minutes, which doesn't seem bad compared to a few of the other gigs I've done recently. But I just know how nervous I get before things like this. This is for a birthday party. Um, and I get the most nervous about these types of things because I'm dancing solo and you really put yourself out there, you know, performing at an event like that. And so you just really want to put your best foot forward. And of course, I've been working on my Bible study, my writing project, and I was just reading that St. Francis de Sales, I believe, our best friend for 2017, I think we can agree, was saying that we shouldn't worry and have anxiety because then it's counterproductive, essentially, that you worry. For one thing, worrying doesn't accomplish anything. And then when you worry, you actually make yourself perform lessened in a more weak fashion because your nerves and your anxiety are then interfering with your ability to do your best. And I know all of these things, but this has been a lifelong struggle. I think it's pretty common. All these years, I have such a difficult time battling performance jitters and nerves. I've gotten a little bit better, but I still have a long way to go. So I will be working on my Patronus for all it's worth on Saturday. So Saturday is going to be a really long day because we will be performing in the 12 to 2 and then 3 to 5:30 time slots at the art festival, and then the birthday party is at 9. It's going to be a really long day. And then Sunday, we have the same 2 art festival time slots. And then I'm going home and I'm having pizza with my family and a big glass of wine. And I'm just going to relax. I've got some things going on at work on Monday. I was hoping to take the day off, but I don't think I'm going to be able to because we have some meetings and such. So I'll be okay. But I'll be tired, and I'll probably be tired for several days afterwards. So yeah, if you would wing up a prayer for me for calm and tranquility on Saturday, I would be most grateful. That's what's going on with me. Besides that, Henry has been at a science technology camp this week at the local Catholic Boys High School. He loves it. He really wants to go to school there. I would love to send him to school there. It's just all a matter of if we can afford it. It's still several years away, so I'm not going to worry about it, but he keeps hinting about it. So I told him not to worry. If God intends for it to happen, I'm sure we're going to find a way. But he's been enjoying that. Anne has been good, just kind of her usual little self. Very cute that she is. And Mike has been teaching, just finished his second week of this summer semester. He's teaching logic and intro to philosophy. So it goes really quickly in the summer for him, which is really nice because, you know, it's in a flash all done, and we're very grateful for the money. So that's the update. Like I mentioned, I've been working on my writing, this Bible study that I'm writing. I just finished chapter 5 of 7, so I'm about to start chapter 6 today. I'm really crossing my fingers that I'm going to make it and have a draft done before things get really intense here planning for the fall semester, and I can already kind of feel it. Next week it's going to be August, and the semester starts here, I believe, August 28th. And so it's, I mean, there's still plenty of time, but I'm not going to be able to dedicate all day to writing the way I have been lately. I'm going to have lesson planning and other things like that to do. So that's where things stand. I would love to already be done, but to be honest, I think I'm in a pretty good place. We'll have to keep that up. So that's where I'm at. I hope things are going well for you too. All right, on my bookshelf, so you all know what I'm reading because it's been like this for weeks. I am reading Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I'm finally, I think almost 70% of the way through. It's really picked up for me. I love the books, but things got a little, I don't know, they got slower in Goblet of Fire for me. Oh, there was like lots of house elf stuff and the Tri-Wizard tournament, which is all very interesting, but it just, I don't know, something in the narrative just slowed for me. But now it has picked right up. If you've read that book, I am just past the second task and I am very much engaged. So doing good, hoping to finish that up in the next couple weeks so I can move on to the next book, which is The Order of the Phoenix. I'm also reading The Well, and speaking of The Well, that summer book club has been going really, really well. I have been getting lots of comments on the posts. I've got lots of people, well, relatively speaking, for this little blog, a solid handful or two of people reading along, and the level of activity in the book club has been the best that I've ever received. So I feel very blessed. I'm very grateful that the book one that did this book one in the Living Water series, The Well, and I think I have an idea. So all of you who are participating, let me know what you think. This is the first book in a trilogy, the Living Water trilogy, and the next two books are called The Thief and The Tomb. The first obviously being about the thief who was crucified next to Jesus on Good Friday, and the last book being about Jesus' resurrection, you know, that set around that event. And I believe centers on Martha, if I remember correctly, but I just looked at the description very quickly. To me, this speaks of a 2018 Lenten Easter Catholic book club. So I think that we should definitely do that. What do you think, though? I know I've got Sam, who's been participating in the book club, has already read The Thief because she was just so into, had finished The Well and moved on to The Thief because she was just so interested in the stories. But by Lent, I think that she might be ready to reread, right, Sam? And I just think that that sounds perfect. So it's a little ways off, and I know that we're all like really excited about the book, and so it would be nice to continue on this fall, but it's just not going to be possible. With my time schedule. And plus, sometimes I think it's nice to just build anticipation for the book clubs, like take a couple of months off and then have another book club before you dive right in. So this is what I'm thinking. In the fall, I won't have a book club because my teaching and all of that. Of course, I'll be posting on the blog and doing tea time, but we can just take a little time off from an official book club. But around late November, so Advent, I'd like to do an Advent book club. I don't know what we'll read yet, so if you have any suggestions, let me know. But something just light and cheerful for Advent and Christmas, I think that would be smashing. So write in if you have ideas for what we can put on our list to vote on. But for Lent and Easter, I just think it would be a fantastic idea to read both of these other books, The Thief and then The Tomb. What do you think? Please write in with your ideas. But then that would give us a book club in, you know, like the second half of November and into December, and then we take a break again in January and February. I think Ash Wednesday this year falls on Valentine's Day, if I'm not mistaken. So Lent will start in mid-February, but we would be off. I mean, obviously, by the time Christmas comes around, we're going to be done with the book club. We're all good. I take a usual siesta from the blog over Christmas and New Year's. So we'll probably do our book club in November and early December. And so then we would take off over the holidays, all of January, and then pick up right when Lent starts in mid-February. So let me know what you think, but I'm kind of excited about that. So we'll just need some ideas for Advent. So let me know. The other thing I was mentioning on my bookshelf, I saw on one of the blogs that I subscribe to. I really enjoy the love-inspired suspense series of fiction, romance fiction, really. So these are inspirational, Christian-based. The love-inspired titles are all inspirational, wholesome Christian romances. And they have a suspense line, they have a historical line, and they have a contemporary line that's just called love-inspired. But in particular, I like that one too, the contemporary one. But my favorite is love-inspired suspense. And I saw on the list that there was this whole series of books from either Love Inspired or the other Harlequin series, because it's owned, Love Inspired is owned by Harlequin, for the summer that were themed around sports. And the Love Inspired suspense title that was on there is called Sabotage, and it has an equestrian theme. And I thought that was really nice. I'm really thinking about downloading it. So it's $3.99 for Kindle. It's called Sabotage. I have the link on my bookshelf notes if you want to check that one out. But I really enjoy those books because I really love romantic suspense. That's one of my very favorite types of books to read, and just the Christian setting for all of them is just very uplifting, I think. So you can check that one out. I think it's a good price as well. And I've got links to the Two Living Waters books as well in the show notes, so let me know what you think about that. For a corner for August, I do a novena with my friends every month, and we are thinking St. Maximilian Kolbe for August. His feast day is August 14th, and so his novena would begin August 5th. Pray More Novenas has done his novena in the past, and so I have a link there to their St. Maximilian Kolbe page. They have not announced whether that's going to be their next novena in August of 2017 or not, because they do sometimes switch each year which ones they do. I'm hoping that they do, but if they don't, the prayer is still up there. I have the link in the show notes. So I just think that would be a great one. That is Henry's favorite saint, and so I would just love to pray that novena. So if you'd like to join us, link in the show notes, and you can sign up for, if you haven't already done so, for Pray More Novena's email reminders with the prayers every day when they have a novena going. Creative Commons, I've been actually crocheting quite a bit. So a couple of years ago, I crocheted a shawl that was part of a crochet along while we were all watching Downton Abbey. And I have a photo in the show notes of how the shawl turned out. It's one of my favorite shawls. I really like the way it was a more complicated pattern, and I've been crocheting for a long time, since I was a teenager, but there was definitely some confusion with some of the parts of the pattern for the shawl, but we made it. And that's the nice thing about being in a knit along or a crochet along, is you have a board where you can ask questions and we all help each other out. So the pattern is a pay pattern. I purchased it back in the day, and you can still purchase it now. It's called Happily at the Abbey. And it's just a really pretty pattern in which you have a center medallion, and then you crochet out the edges and make sort of wings, and then put a very lovely scalloped border on it when you're done. Great for fall because you can wrap it around. You can use it as like more of a kerchief style. I do that sometimes, where you put the front here and then you wrap it around your neck, or you can wrap it around your shoulders. I like the way it turned out, and a good friend of mine had asked if I would make one for her in a different colorway. And so I'm working on that for Christmas, and it is working up really pretty. The colorway is completely different from the one that I used for my own shawl. It is the same yarn. It's Knit Picks Stroll Fingering in the hand-painted colorways. And so I don't often crochet with fingering weight yarn. It's much thinner than what I'm usually using in both knit and crochet. But if I'm using fingering weight, it's generally for knitted socks, something like that, where you want the thinner fabric. So with crochet, you're generally making afghans. Sometimes I'm making summer tops, and I'm using worsted weight yarn almost all the time, because it's just thicker, and it's for garments or blankets that just works out better. But for this shawl, it's fingering weight, and so it lends it a different texture, and it works up really, really pretty. And so the colorway that Irina chose has purples and blues and kind of a lime green in it. It's very unexpected. The colorway is called Big Top. It's really pretty, the way that the variegated colors are pooling together. And so I've just started. I have a photo. I've expanded on it since I took the photo, but you can just see the very center flower of the medallion, and it's looking really pretty. So I've been working on that in the evenings and really enjoying it. So that is my update on everything. So I would love to hear from you, especially about books. I'm like excited even just talking about this. I think that this is going to give us something to look forward to as we move into the fall, and as we I look forward to Advent every year because I'm a nerd, and so we can plan out how we're going to approach that season, and it can tie in with our book, and yay, yay, yay. And then of course Lent, I geek out about that every year, and I just think the next 2 books in this biblical fiction series is going to be perfect. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you need anything, if anybody, this is very much a community. So if anybody needs prayers for anything, leave a comment. And I know that people come, whenever I respond to comments, people see them, I can tell, because sometimes they'll respond. Back to me or another way, mention it to me on Twitter or something. And so I know that people are checking back on the comments. And so if you have a prayer request, pop it in there. If you don't want to be specific because maybe it's something that involves another person and they don't feel comfortable with you sharing it, or it's something more personal, of course, everybody understands that. So you can just say, pray for a special intention, and we're all here for each other. So feel free to do that on any of the posts, and we will all keep you in our prayers. So I really look forward to talking to you next week when this weekend is behind me. I think next week is going to be a vacation from my weekend. So I'm certain that's going to be fun. But it has my stomach in knots, as you can imagine. So there you have it. I will definitely post about it though, and let you in on all of the amusing details, because there are always amusing details. So I can't wait to talk to you then, and have a great weekend. I will see you soon. Bye.